Hello, friends. Welcome to day 7 of our journey. So, we will begin in around 5 minutes. So, today we are going to learn about grid. Actually, we are going to learn about the complete grid. Actually, I combined 2 days today. So, initial plan was to complete grid in 2 days, but now I thought to do this whole course quicker, so I am trying to combine 2 days. So what I have done, 2 days of CSS grid I have combined into 1 day. So we are going to learn complete grid, and that's how we can complete this course in a shorter duration. So that's my plan. So each live session, I have seen that it takes around 1 hour, but from now on I think it will take more than that. I think it will take around 2 hours. So hope you are all okay with it. If you find it too long, you can always see the recording, because the recording is always there on the second day. YouTube give me the recording on the second day and I post it there. So that's it. So welcome all. That's yeah. So let us wait a bit more. It's not even 6. So we will wait another 5 minutes. So as usual, I have given the link to the LinkedIn post in which you have to mark your attendance. So please mark your attendance there. So let me share my screen. So for CSS Grid, what we are going to use some basic. Hope you are able to see my screen. So CSS Grid, let me in the meantime tell about CSS Grid. CSS Grid is actually much newer than Flexbox, but even it is 3 years old and more than it's have means the access is there in all the browser. Actually, what happens when something new like this comes, the browser don't give access to it. So it means and Internet Explorer and Safari are always the biggest problem. But right now CSS Grid is available in almost all the browser, so you can safely use them. So and CSS Grid is as I had told, it is more powerful than Flexbox, and you can, because it has got both columns and rows, which in Flexbox it is generally one directional. It is considered as one directional, but CSS Grid is two directional. Means it has got columns, it has got row, it has got some very advanced features also. So we are going to look into all of them, those advanced features also. So there are way in which we can do CSS grid in the easy means 2-3 ways are there, which is not there in Flexbox. So here we have, and since I'm covering a lot, so this is the basic setup which I have done. See, the div container is there, and in it some class container parent element, and inside this some 10 items are there which has got a class of item. Okay, so these are there. And as in Flexbox, in Grid also, what we do, it is on the parent, and it applies on the children's. So we have done some basic uh, styles which we are going to do in almost every project which we are going to do. So some root yellow is there, then HTML, box sizing, font family, and image, so background, all these things are there. Margin 0 we have taken, and we are centering also all the element. So we can, as I mentioned, we can do this with Flexbox also, as we have seen in the earlier class. So here also we have some of the properties which are similar, like display grid, justify content center, align item center, and a bit of border, and like this. So we have given. So next, so we have not started yet, so I think so this is the base style, and so let's get started, and we will target this container which we have. Let me bring it down only. So dot container display is grid. So yeah, I have opened it in CodePen. So both of them are same. This is the full view, and this is the editor view. So I save it, but it will not auto do anything. I have to refresh it manually. So I've refreshed it. But as with Flexbox, giving display grid, nothing will happen. It will be just like that. In Flexbox, if you give Flexbox, it will come one beside the other. But this will not happen in grid. Okay, so now it doesn't happen in grid because we need some properties in grid. The first property which we are going to see is grid template column. Grid template columns, and the column will make column 200 pixel and 500 pixel. Let me save it, and let me refresh it. So see, grid template column, first one is 200 pixel, the second one is 500 pixel. It made two columns of 200 pixel and 500 pixel, and all the 10 items which it was having here, all this 10 item, it is doing it like this. It is making two columns and adding it in that. So this is grid template column. So we have something known as the grid template column. We have something known as grid template rows also, and here I'm going to give 200 pixel, 100 pixel, 300 pixel. Save it. As you might have guessed that rows will make the row is like this left to right it will make. So first one is 200 pixel, this one is 200 pixel, this one is 100 pixel, this one is 300 pixel. And see the next two, we have given only 3 rows, but we have actually 5 rows. So these two by default it will take whatever it was there earlier, like when we have taken grid template column, and we are going to learn more about this later on. But right now we have 3 rows, so 3 rows will be generated by the means grid, and 2 rows will be automatically means whatever it was there earlier, means the column, because it was by column, so it will be like that. So there is another property which is known as grid gap. Grid gap is 8, let me do it 5 pixel. I save it, and let me refresh it and see the gaps are been formed. This gap, this gap, this gaps are formed. So grid gap is similar to what we have seen in Flexbox also earlier. So this it is. Now let us go to the next one. Okay, so next one. Okay, so we will learn it here only, means 10, yeah, we'll learn it here only. So what we are going to learn here first, so first thing which we are going to learn is there are some very good developers tools in Firefox, actually only Firefox browser. So Firefox earlier it was in only in developer edition, but right now in every other edition also you can get this. So we will see that here, the developers tools which are specific to grid. So let me right click and inspect element. Okay, and see in this layout we have got this something known as grid. So line numbers, we have chosen every line numbers, and our container is the main grid. So what we are going to do, we are going to click here and make sure that it is black. So now it will show us nice numbers, that our column is like this 1 2 3. It is always one more, and rows is 1 2 3, means whatever are there 1 2 3 4 5 6. So it will show that. Okay, so this feature is only available in Firefox. So it shows us nicely the grids and all, and I want to tell about the implicit grid and explicit grid. Okay, so for that let me change this a bit, 200 pixel 500 pixel, let it be 100 pixel rows, let this be 50 pixel, and let this be 200 pixel. Let me save it, and let me refresh it. So see, again what is happening. Yeah, I have again chosen a grid this, and as I've told earlier, this 200 pixel 500 pixel is okay, but this is 100 pixel. 100 pixel means this first row is of 100 pixel. So let me do a inspect also. Yeah, so container. So first is 100 pixels, second row is 50 pixels. So this is 100, this is 50, and this is 200 pixels. After that, the next two rows are as it is, means whatever it was earlier, it was like that, it is not taking its own. So why it is like this? Because this is something known as explicit means explicit grid, explicit and implicit. So yeah, so for showing that I have to zoom it a bit. Okay, so the dashed lines are different, so not this. Okay, a bit less. Yeah, so see, these lines, they are dash, bigger dash. Okay, so they are known as explicit because we have defined them explicit. But this are dot because they are defined by themselves, because we didn't give them, so they are known as implicit. So this is what is meant by explicit and implicit. So let me go back. So there are something which we will learn about this explicit and implicit. So this implicit tracks by default take the height of the element inside it. So now what we are going to do for the implicit track, we are going to do a property known as grid auto rows 150 px. Let me save it. Let me refresh it. I think I don't need that. So see what happened, this 7, this two, they by default they become 150 pixel because they were implicit rows. So this is meant by grid auto rows, although I have not seen it used much in the production, so but it is there, so we should know it. So after that, let me make a new code pen. Or else it is set, it is taking a lot of time, so it's better let me do it here only. So we will learn about another thing known as autoflow. So we, for that autoflow, so what is autoflow? By default the implicit track are created in the next row, so we want to change it, so we will use a grid autoflow. So by let me do it. Okay, and so I have removed them. Yeah, so only two of the item are there. Let me remove this also, and let me make it 15 px. This will be 400 and this will be 200. Save it, and Let me refresh it. So we have only two of them. So what will happen if I bring a third item? So we have two items. What will happen? Let me cut it and let me paste it here. So we have three items. So it by default moves to the next row. So how to fix that? Means we wanted to move it because there is a lot of space here. So we wanted to move it here to the next column. So there is something known as grid autoflow. We just have to give it and we have to write it column. By default it is row. So grid auto flow is column. Let me save it and let me refresh it. See, it has come here. So this is grid auto flow. So let's now move forward. And now we will know about sizing tracks in grid. So I have to change the HTML a bit. So wait a second, let me copy it, the HTML. So we are going to have around 15 items actually. So first let me remove it, and we are going to have some other items. So yeah, I don't want this. Let me have that, but just a display grid and a grid gap. I will have initially grid gap of maybe a bit more, 20 pixel. Let me save it and let me refresh it. So it's like this. Grid gap is way too much. Let me reduce it a bit, 15 px, because we'll zoom it a bit also. Okay, so whatever, grid gap is 15 px, and now we are seeing how to size the different column. By default means grid, if we take grid nothing happens. So we have to take the grid template column. So again, grid template columns. So the first thing which you will see is percentage. You can take percentage also, 25%, 25%, 25%. Actually we were trying to make it equal the whole screen, 25, 25, 25, 25. So let me save it. Yeah, let me refresh it. So it is not exactly means 25%. See, it is also going tilde and there is some more space here. So this is actually, this is not at all a perfect way. And if I increase this a bit more, see it is 15 px, and if I increase it a bit more and make it 20 px, then see what will happen. So it will cut itself, because by default 25% into 4 is 100%, plus those 20 pixel is there, so it will cut. So this is not the perfect way to give it. So the other way is the old way, which we have already seen, but before that, let me also give a border so we can understand better. 5px solid black, and grid template column I will make 200 pixel and 150 pixel. Let me save it, refresh it. Yeah, it is like this. So now 200 pixel and 150 pixel it is taking. And now there is another thing in grid, which we are going to use the most in any project which we are going to use, which is known as FR. One is that is also known means free space, free row, something. So one FR, if I give, see what will happen. See, the third one FR means free space. So whatever the free space was left, it was moved here, it is moved here, it is moved here, it is moved here. So this is one FR, and this is the power of it. So first column is 200 pixels, second is 150 pixel, and third is 1 FR, the remaining of the space. So similar to 1 FR, we have two, we can take 2FR also, means 2FR, 1FR. So what is 2FR? 2FR means it is of 1:2 ratio, means if there is a free space and we will divide it. So one time the free space will be in the first column, and the second time the free space, twice of it will be in the second one. Let me show and it will be much clear. Let me save it first and let me refresh it. So see, this is twice of this. So this is 1FR and 2FR. Anything 3FR, 4FR, or anything you can do. So there is another property known as auto. So what does auto do? Well, auto take the width of the item which is there. So if I make this auto, let me save it. Oh, something wrong. Auto. Let me save it. Refresh it. See, only the item when whatever one was there is some margin and all those things here. So it is only this much, and then this has been divided into 1FR and 2FR. This is 3 is twice that of 2. So this is like that auto. So another thing, this auto, if I give any, it adjust according to the item, as I told. So what will happen if the item is not 1 or 2? Okay, so let me change the fourth item. So I'm changing this fourth item to, so I'm changing to Nabendu UI developer, and see, it is now even the one corresponding to it, it will take this much because they all belong to the same column. So it will change it. So this is it, and let us change it back. Okay. Because what we are going to see another very important topic, another important property known as repeat. So repeat is nothing but the it means, suppose okay, let me also bring it back to what it was. Okay, so then repeat 2 comma 1FR. Let me save it, let me refresh it. So what is happening here means there are two 1FR columns are created. This 2 and 3, two 1FR columns are created. Means it is exactly equivalent to giving 1FR, 1FR. Save it, refresh it, and it is like that. So it's sort of a short form. So now what will happen if I move this? Let me cut it and let me move it inside. So what will happen now? See, now what is happening? This first we have 4 columns, 4 plus 1, this 5, auto 1. So first is 1 FR, second is 2 FR, first is 1 FR, 2 FR. So 2 times it is repeating the pattern. So this is what it is, 2 times it is repeating the pattern. So if I write it here, so how what it will be? 1 FR, 2 FR, 1 FR, 2 FR. Let me save it. Let me refresh it. So it is equivalent to what it was there. Okay. So yeah. So the next thing which we are, so this short part is again complete. So let's see the next thing. So in this, I'm going to have a lot of items. Okay. So actually we are going to have 30 items. First let me remove this also, and let me come here. See what I'm having 30 items, and each item 2 class. One is the item and one is the item number class is also there. And again let have a basic style only first. Okay, so this is our basic style. After this we will start our, so if I refresh it, so this is what we have. We have around 30 items, and without anything it will show like this. So now we'll start adding our main styles. Dot container display grid. Grid gap is 20 px, and grid template columns is repeat 5 comma 1 FR. Let me save it. Let me refresh it. And 5 columns are created and grid gap of 20 px. So it is like that. And now let me target one, because we have each one of them have a individual class also, like item 6 item. So what I'm going to do, I want to make one of it big. So how I will do, I will do item 9. One way is to increase the content, which we have already seen. So another way is to increase the height. So background is misty rose. It is 500 pixel. So this is another way by which we can increase. So I am targeting the 9th one. So I am targeting this one. See, the width is increased and the color, background color also have changed. And so whatever it is corresponding to this column, so all of them have also changed their width. So as we have seen earlier with the name also. So Now to do this, we have a better way to do this. So, and that better way is something known as grid column. So what will that grid column do? It will tell the grid how much it will expand. So grid column span is 2. Save it. And see, if I do the span 2, it will span it to 2 column. So this 4 and 5 was there, so it is spanning into 2 column, and the 10th already it moved down. So this is very powerful thing, grid column, and we use this quite a lot. And then similar to that, we have grid row also. So let me make that grid row span to, save it. So now what it will do, it will expand it to 2 rows also. So see how powerful it is. With only this two, we can change the layout of anything. Suppose some part of the website is there which we want to change. With these two properties, we can easily change it. Okay, so this is there, and now there is another thing like this. We are telling it to span. So there is something like dot item 16 background is maybe light, I think it is there, light green, and grid column, we have something known as start also, a start, and it will start from 2 and 16. So we are targeting this one. Okay, so it will start from 2 and grid column, and it will end at 6. So let me save it. Let me refresh it and see. 16, it is starting from the second one and ending to the sixth one. Okay, so another thing is there, I can inspect element also, and the container, if I do, so I can see that it is starting from the second and it is ending till the end. This is the sixth one. So my track, we can see the track numbers also in this case. So this will be nice to see the track numbers also. So there is a short form for this also. Let me do this, and grid column 2. So start and end we are giving. So start is 2 slash 6. If I give save, so it will be the same thing. Okay, it is not refreshed properly. Okay, so it is the same thing. So we can do another thing. Let me again comment this out, and grid column 2 slash span 4. So we can do that also. So this is the same thing. So yeah, so after that, we want to expand something from the start till the end. So how to do that? So item 17. So the 17 one, I want it to expand completely. So there is a shortcut method for that also, grid column, and do the container. You see the last one is called -1 also. So 1, 2, -1 I will give. Save it, refresh it, and see it is expanding there from the start to the end. So let me target the next one, which is the 18th one. And what I will take, let me take green. And what will happen if I take from 1 to -2? See what will happen. It will not go till the end, but one column before that. So it will come till here. So -2 means that. So that's, so we can also mix match them. So like 20 I will do. Grid column 1 to -3, and grid, we're targeting the 21, row 8 to 10. So it is going till -3 and 8 to 10. So in the top from 8 to 10 it is going. See, -3 it is going like this, and a row 8 to 10 it is going. So if you give the lines, it is much easier to see what is happening. 8 to 10 it is going. So now what we are going to see, we are going to see some properties like at autofill and autofit, which are very good and very useful and grid everywhere, and they are used for responsive design. So they are one of the most important things in grid, and in all production project, if a person knows grid, he will use this definitely. Because what happens with this, you can get rid of media queries, which is required in flexbox also to have a mobile layout, but with this you don't need that. So let me start. Okay, we don't need all this, so let me remove this. And we want only till, okay, we want a different way, so let me copy that itself. So yeah, so display grid gap is 20 px, and let us have some border also. I don't require this right now. Border npx solid black template column. I have repeat only is there, but I don't want to repeat it like this. Auto fill, comma 150 px. So let me save it now, and let me refresh it. So see what it did. It every item it is 150 px, and it tried to fit it completely as far as it is able to fit. So some space is remaining because it was not able to fit the item 6 there, so it moved it down. So this is what autofill do, and this is how powerful it is. Even see, if I make it small, see how they are moving, and adjusting, how they're moving and adjusting, like this. They are adjusting themselves. So we are on the part to make it responsive. It is not yet responsive. Okay, so because it was moving at one place. So now we will see autofit also, and autofit is quite similar to autofill. But to see the difference, what we need to do, we need to have only 4 items so that we can see the difference. So let me comment the rest of the items. Me save it. Let me refresh it. And where did I refresh it? No, I didn't refresh it. So I had refresh it. Okay. I think 1 sec. This seems to be very big to me, or because I've increased the size. Is it because of that? Okay, doesn't matter. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to inspect element. I'm going to start it. See, so let me make it a bit big. Okay, yeah, so it is right. Why it is small? Huh. Some default thing kicked up here. Okay, why did this have suddenly become small? Oh, code pen, some default thing have kicked up. It's okay. Code pen is also responsive, so see it is changing the layout, and it is changing something. Okay, it is okay. So uh, so you can see there are a lot of space in this autofill. See, 5 6, all this thing is there in autofill. So we will do autofit now. Okay, we can see, we cannot see much. Let me increase it a bit. Let it go like this. Doesn't matter. and CSS, where is my CSS? Yeah, so we can see this 6 7, the different, it was able to make more rows. Only a bit we'll see, it is creating this uh, implicit rows, so in auto fill. So I am changing it to auto fit. Let me save it and let me refresh it. So some issue is there. It's not getting refreshed properly. Yeah, so it got refreshed properly. Let me inspect element and let me do this. So we have now auto fit. I know this is very small, but we'll soon change it. So everything moved here. So means in auto fit we cannot fill anything extra in this. In auto fit we can do it in. So what I am going to do, this item 4, I want to move it to the end. So we'll see the difference. Item 4, grid, column, and you can give also directly -1, so it should move to the end. Save it, refresh it, but it didn't move. Okay, now let me change it back to auto fill. Save it, refresh it, and see it moved it to the end, because there was space was there in the end, so it moved it there. So this is the difference between autofit and autofill. If there is a space is there in autofill, it will move through that space. So let me do one thing here. It is actually very small. Actually, I have moved it here itself. Let me make it complete itself. Okay, so we'll have a lot of space. Yeah, because I have a ultra wide screen, so yeah, we can use it. Okay, so now we will see another very powerful concept, which is known as min-max. So min-max along with autofill is the thing which I was telling earlier, that we can get rid of media queries. So for that, okay, we'll have some other HTML also. So let me have that HTML. So I have another. Oh no, I don't want it inside actually. I think I want it outside. Let me save it. Or I think I'm doing something wrong. Let me copy it itself. Let me save it. Let me refresh. Yeah, so we are having this again, and now we will have this dot min max container display grid cap is 20 px, border is 10 px, solid medium blue, and grid template columns is repeat auto fill 100 px. So let me save it. Let me refresh it and see what happens. What just happened? Our goodbye. We had given only autofill and 100 px. So autofill kicked off, but that 100 px. So repeat it is 100 px. So 100 px. Goodbye is not fitting in the 100 px. So it is going out. Goodbye is going out. So in that way, there is something known as min max, which is very useful. So we are going to use that. So what does min max do? So min max, it will define the width of each item. So autofill. So I'm seeing it is big. So min max, it is 100 px or 1 alpha. I think I have to make it. Wait. Yeah, it is still like this because we have to manually do it. Means it is at least it should be 150 px or 1 fr. 1 fr is free row. So it made it 150 px. Each of them is 150 px or 1 fr. So minimum is 150 px or 1 fr, whichever is applicable. So it means that. So because of that, it is totally responsive. So let me bring it down. So see, minimum 150 px. So by responsive means, see, we didn't give anything min max here. So minimum 150 px it was giving, and or 1 fr, it is means whatever is available, it is going through it. So this is very useful for responsive view. So by that I mean that it will expand completely. It will expand completely. So it is min max, we didn't give it here, so it didn't did it. So it is not way. Okay, so this is very powerful way to make a site responsive without any media query. Okay, so now let's move to the next one. So now what we are going to see, we are going to see the powerful concept of grid template areas. Grid template area is a very powerful concept. With the grid template area, what happens, we follow different things, so you won't see this thing used at a lot of places because it's not a complicated, but people generally don't learn this, but it is very easy once you learn it, and you can implement it. So for this, let me first set up, because what we are going to do, we are going to use something totally different here. So let me do the setup for that. As I have told, we are going to have something totally different. The basic styles only I have put. Save it, refresh it, and I will open it later on. So this is like this, what we have right now. A div of container, inside it a div of item 1, item 2 is item 1 is sidebar, item 2 is the main content, which have the paragraph and alarm, and item 3 is there, which is a sidebar, and another is there, which is the footer. So by default everything is div, so it will show it like this. Some styles are there, so it will show it in the center. So now we will start. So what we want to achieve here, we want to achieve two sidebars, one main content and one footer. We want to achieve through this, and we want to uh, style it in a way that I am sidebar should come here, I am sidebar should come here, the main content should come in the middle, and footer should come at the bottom. So let us do that. So let me go back, and let me not write everything. So because we have already written, means container is there, display grid gap 20 px, template column 1 fr, 10 fr, and 1 fr. So why we did this? Because we want the two sidebars and the one main area. So 1 fr, 10 fr, and 1 fr. 10 fr is 10 times the time. Rows, so one 150 px, one another one is 150 px, and third one is 100 px. So let me save it. So we were anyway near complete because we're just starting. Let me refresh it, and it changed this thing. So it's better I open the tool. Okay, so this, it is done, this 1 fr and 1 fr, and this is 10 fr, and this 150 px, 150 px, and 100 px, but nothing was there for 100 px, so it is showing like this. So now comes the main part, which is the grid template areas. So we'll do grid template areas. See, this happens when you copy paste, so the line is, everything is had gone there, and it is not like VS Code, we can do it You have to do it manually only. The grid template areas, and then what we are going to write? We are going to write our whole content. See, side bar 1 content. See, what we have here, we have a 3 rows and 3 columns. So we are making this now. Content side bar 2 sidebar 1 contains sidebar 2, because what I want this sidebar to extend this 2 and sidebar 2 to extend this 2 and content to extend till this. So you are getting the picture. And bottom, the footer to be in this 3. So what will be there? Footer, footer, footer. Let me save it. Let me refresh it. Let me refresh it. Actually, I don't know why it is not refreshing properly. Let me do inspect element again. Let me put it. See, another good thing about grid is there. See what happened. It is showing the sidebar, content. It is, I didn't did anything, so it is showing that sidebar, content, sidebar 2. So sidebar 2 will be here, but it is not yet fixed. We have to do one more thing: footer, and content. So it is very visually. This template area is very visual thing. So after that, what we need to do? We need to have this footer. So this class is there, footer. So what I will do, this footer I will do, and I have to write grid area footer, just like that. Item 1. Item 1 is the sidebar. This item 1 is the sidebar. So item 1 grid area sidebar 1. Item 2 and item 3. I am doing this for item 2 and this for item 3. So item 2 is our whole of content. So we have to do content here, and item 3 is again a sidebar. So sidebar 2, let me save it, refresh it, and we are done. See, sidebar is extending correctly and footer is extending. Sidebar has come in the place of sidebar, content had come in the place of content, sidebar has come in the place of sidebar and footer. So this is a very powerful thing. We can create our whole website with this. Means we don't need anything else in grid. So there are many other things in grid like justify content and all those things. So we don't need anything else, and we can create our whole thing. And it is also very easy to do our media query with this. So we will see how to do the media query. At media max width is 700 pixel dot container And what we need to do, this grid template areas is there. We have to copy this inside the container and we have to change it. So how we are, let me format it a bit. Yeah, so we change it. So in the mobile I want the content to be in this. I don't want the sidebar here, so I want the content here, content here, and sidebar 1. So anything we can have, sidebar 1, sidebar 1, and sidebar 1, sidebar 1, and sidebar 2. So let me save it. Let me refresh it. Let me take it to the mobile view. So I have taken it to the mobile. Okay, yeah, I know it is overlapping, but you got an idea what is happening right now in the content. So this it is. So let us go ahead. So we are going to learn the concept now for that justify content thing, which is the justify content align items, which is there in Flexbox. So those all things are there in Grid also. So we are going to learn that. So let me again set up my system for that. I will have a lot of items in the HTML till 40. Okay, and I have a basic styles now. Let me refresh it. So it is like this right now. Nothing is there. Okay. So what we are going to learn? We are going to learn these things. Justify item, align item, justify content, align self, justify self. And as we have seen earlier, means in Flexbox, what used to happen, Flexbox have a flex direction, and if you change the flex direction, what happens, the justify changes and align changes according to that. But in Grid, it is not like the justify is always row axis and align is always column axis, because we have grid template column and grid template rows. So then let me move forward and do it. Container displays grid, grid gap is npx, and grid template columns is repeat 10 comma one fr. Let me save it. So it is like this, means 10 and 1 fr each. So we don't have anything else right now. So we will first look at justify item. So for justify item, which align the items along the row axis. So again, it have got 4 values. So justify items start. Let me do that, and we are going to have another thing. One item, each of the item background is, it will give. Let me save it. Let me come back here, and let me do this and see what happened. We cannot see much what happened here, but for that we have to inspect it, and we have to start our container. See what happened when I did a justify item start, each item, so it had come to the start of it, start of the container. So this is justify item start. Similar to that, if I do it and, so it will move to the end, center, let me do inspect element again, let me do it. So it moved to the center, and then the last one is stretch. Let me save it. Let me refresh it. So this is what stretch is doing. Okay. So now we will look into align item, and it does along the column axis. So let me go back. So for that we will have grid template rows repeat 5 100 px justify items, let it be end. So for align items also, first I will do justify items and so it is taking like this because by default align item, I think align item is stretch if you don't give it. So let us give it align items is start. Let me inspect it. And div container. See, by justify, what happened actually, by justify items end, it had gone to the end, and align item start, it had, we cannot see much difference here, but align item start is here. So if I do end, it will move here. If I do align items center, it will move here. So let me save it. Let me refresh it. Let me inspect the element. Yeah, so it has gone to the end, so it is moving in this line. So like this, the center will be there, and if I give a stretch, it will stretch completely. So by default it is stretch, what we have seen in the earlier, it is stretch. So I'm not going to so there is a very special thing which is used at a lot of places. So what will happen if I give this justify item center and align items center? So this is a very important thing. So it is centering it exactly, it is centering it. Okay, justify item center and align item center. And similarly, if you want to stretch it completely, instead of center, if I give stretch, stretch and stretch, I don't put it here, or so it will stretch completely. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're going to see. So we have something known as justify content also. So we are going to see the justify content now, not the item. So justify, let leave the justify item as a stretch, and now we will see justify content. Let it start. See, now it is stretching completely. Let me save it. Let me refresh it. Hmm. Okay, so to see that in action, we have to change this, not 10 1FR, but 500px. So we have column 5 of 100px and another 5 of Yeah, and one more thing. So we use justify content, content, and there is a align content also. So we use when the grid is less than the grid container. So we use them at that time. Justify content and align content. So for that only we have to make it column as 5100px. So let me for some time. Let me remove it. Let me save it. Let me show like this. It will be shown. So the first thing, save it, refresh it. It will be shown here only. Let me give a border also here. Border 10px solid black. See, our grid container is this much, but it is everything is moving to the start. By default means it was start only. So like this. So you might have guessed what will happen if I do it end. So just click on the hand, it will move it to the end. So it moved it to the end. So like that, if I do it center, it will move to the center. So justify content is quite similar to what we have in flexbox. Justify item is a new thing. So justify content, it has got those properties also like flexbox, like space around. Those properties, space around, space between, which I'm not going to show because there's like that only, space between, space even, like flexbox, those are there, you all can see those whatever is there. So now what we are going to see, we are going to see the align content. Now for align content, we don't need this much, we need only 10. So let me remove them. We need only 10. And create, repeat, rows I don't need for this. So rows I am removing. Justify item stretch, align item stretch, justify content, let me make it space between. Yeah, so let me save it. And so it is like this right now. So we have to give some height to it. Height is 500 pixel. Yeah, now we have height. So now align content is start. To see what happened. So everything, this is a container, everything moved to the start for align content. start. So next we will have end. So it is moving along the y-axis, and it will move everything to the end of the container. So like this, center is there, and stretch is also there, which fills everything completely. Okay, so like this, the space around and those things are also there. So now let us increase everything back to, let me increase it till, because for the next item we are going to require more. So I want till 20, I want actually. So let me do that till 20. Let me save it, and we go back, and we are, I'm going to show one more, means stretch. I made it 20, space between. Let me save it. Let me refresh it. The space between, it will nicely fit everything in a space between manner. So now we are going to see justify self. So it is the similar to what we had in flexbox. So justify self, it is meant for a single item. So we want to override for a single item, so it is used. So let me override for item number 8, this one. Background is yellow. Justify self is start. C. 8th one, justify self is done. So it is like justify content, but we are overriding the justify content and we are making it to start. So justify content by default, it is space between, but we are doing it to start. So this is for item 8. So similarly, we can move it to end, we can move it to center. So let me show the center one. So you all can practice this, means it moved to the center actually. So it moves to the center. So let me change to stretch. And it is changed to stretch. So right now, like this, we have align self also. So align self for a single item. So for align self, we will do for item number 14. Let me make it to pink. line itself start. Oh, so 14 is pink and line itself is start. Yeah, so let it be at the start. Okay, so understand it properly, we have to change a bit here. So grid template column is repeat 500 ps, but we have to make a grid template rows also now because this is based on rows. So grid template rows 1fr 1fr 300 px 1fr. I'll do save it. And now if I do it, see, because it has got now rows are first one is one of where it is. So first two are 1fr, the third one is 300 pixel which contains the 14 one. So we had intentionally done this because we want to see where the 14 comes. So 14 comes in the if I do align self start, it will come to the start, as you might have guessed, and then if I do end, it will come to the end. If I do center, let me do only one, which is center. So it will come to the center. And if I do, so it came to the center. If I do stretch, it will come to the stretch. So it is like this. So actually we are done with CSS Grid. Actually there was a small project at the end, so tomorrow also we are going to do projects. So what I am thinking to do that is small project with those projects also only. So we are going to do one that small project which is the image gallery, and another 2-3 projects we are going to do some what big projects. So whatever time we have, I will gave 1.5 like that. Today I think we had a stretch till 1.5 hour. So 1.5 or 2 hour, whatever we are able to complete, I'm going to complete those, maybe 2 projects or maybe 3 projects also, whatever time allows. So this completes grid. I know it's a lot, but this is the way in which we can complete this whole web development course yeah, quickly. So that's why I'm doing this. And anyway, this will be available in the YouTube tomorrow, and I will ping this so you all can go through it. So as always, please subscribe to my channel if you are not subscribed yet, because it helps me to produce content like this. And thank you all for staying with me. And bye for now. Thank you all.